Hey everyone, I'm Flo, Duty's Behind the Camera, and we're all about simple food, simple faith. I'm going to show you how to make a $25 popular Chinese dish for a fraction of the price in about 20 minutes. If you like this video, please click the like button and subscribe because it really does help the channel. I have about a pound of beef flank steak here, and this costs about 10 bucks on sale, and that's when I buy my meat, is when it's on sale. I'm going to cut it first into smaller sections, and then I'm going to cut along the grain. You can see the grain going this way, and so we're going to cut opposite. Just into thin slices. And I did have this in the freezer, and if you freeze it a little bit, it's easier to cut. So it's not completely frozen. Earlier I said it was about 10 bucks for a pound of flank. And let me just start by saying that in the restaurant, you're not getting a full pound of meat. So that $25 dish, that's not happening here. You can get 2 dishes for 10 bucks. Look at all this meat. A few years ago, I learned the secret to tender beef stir fries. And in restaurants, apparently they use some baking soda to tenderize the beef. So I am using about half a teaspoon of baking soda for a pound of meat. And we're going to dissolve that first with 3 tablespoons of water. Now we're doing this first because we don't want the baking soda to just sit on any piece of meat, because then that will make the piece of meat really bitter. So let's just dissolve that, and then we'll add the rest of our marinade. Adding 1 tablespoon of Shaoxing wine. Shaoxing wine is a rice wine, and if you don't have Shaoxing wine, you can just use soy sauce, or actually what we generally use is like a plain rice wine or a sherry, or we've also been known to use bourbon, just something to give it some depth of flavor. 1 teaspoon of soy sauce. And 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. Just gonna mix that around and dissolve it. Doesn't have to be mixed very well. Once we get the beef in there, it will all be absorbed. And adding all the beef to the marinade. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the beef absorbs all of the liquid. And then we're going to set that aside while we prepare the remaining ingredients. Doesn't take long, it's almost all gone. Here you go. While the beef is marinating, we're going to prepare our aromatics. I've got a 2-inch piece of ginger here that I'm going to slice. I'm using half an onion. I like to slice my onion from top to bottom. Just find that it holds its shape better. Also have 2 fairly large stalks of green onion. I'm going to cut off the white and light green parts, and I'm going to add them to the regular onion because I don't like eating them too raw, so I want them cooked through a little bit more. And then I'm going to cut the rest of it also into 2-inch pieces and set them aside to add a little bit later. I'm also going to prepare my sauce because the cooking process is really quick, so you want to get everything ready. I have a teaspoon of just regular sugar. You can use brown sugar, totally up to you. And I'm adding a tablespoon of dark soy sauce, a tablespoon of Shaoxing wine, and a tablespoon of oyster sauce. We're not making a gravy per se, but we do want the sauce to coat the pieces of meat. So since there's not very much liquid, I'm going to add my cornstarch now and dissolve it into the sauce. 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, and also adding 1 tablespoon of water. And give that a stir. You want the cornstarch to be dissolved here. And cornstarch only dissolves in cold or room temperature water, so this is perfect. And just like that, we're ready to cook. Turning my stove on to a medium high. And I'm using my wok today, but you can use a large frying pan. Once your wok is hot, you can tell by that wisp of smoke, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. I'm using avocado oil. You want to use a neutral cooking oil. Just coat the sides well. And I'm going to use half the beef first. I'm just going to let that sit on one side for about a minute to get a good sear on it before we start moving it around. Great. And we just want to cook this until it's about 80% cooked through. I'm going to take that out and get the next batch going. Another tablespoon of oil. Get the rest of the meat in. And do the same. Let it sear on one side before moving it around. Turning off the heat. I'm going to take this beef out as well. Okay, turning down my heat to a medium. Adding 1 tablespoon of cooking oil again. And adding my onions and ginger. Once the onions are done to the texture that you like to eat, we cooked it for maybe about a minute or two. I'm going to add my beef back in with all the juices and give my sauce a stir and add that back in, or add it in. And we just want to cook the beef through, and then it's pretty much done. Oh, look at that. It smells so good, guys. Can't even tell you. Adding the green onions. You just want the green onions to wilt. And adding about 2 teaspoons of sesame oil. And turning off the heat. Give it a stir. Hey, that's it. If you wanted to add veggies, you could totally do that after you cook the onions down a little bit. Add your vegetables, make sure those are cooked down to the texture that you like, and then add the beef back in and then the sauce. And then you have your full meal with veggies and protein all in one dish. We like to eat it with rice on the side And we like to cook our veggies on the side, so we're just gonna eat it like that. And that is simple Cantonese cooking, home style, at home. Are you all ready for?
Dude, this is the taste. Regular rotation item for us because it's simple and it packs a ton of flavor. And it'll get to leftovers, especially for our son who eats a lot nowadays. So we gotta make our dollars stretch. All right, let's get in there. Some beef. Some of that onion to go along with it. Yeah. Oh, hopefully it's not too hot. Got some wok hei going on with this. All right. Oh, and that beef is tender. So much flavor. Umami. Goes along with that rice. Restaurant tender. So good. Do it.
Awesome, thanks, dude. $25 dish at home for 10 bucks, you guys. You gotta check it out. Here's the recipe on my website, FLO'S.com.